All right, so we got some people jumping on now. Looks like we've got quite a few people here. Welcome to TD Fit. So in today's webinar, we're going to be going through a lot of different training things here, some trainings surrounding how I myself lost 53 pounds of fat with just 12 to 24 minutes a day. We tend to overcomplicate this thing. It is super simple. And as we start to go through this, you're gonna realize how I have constant conversations with people who think they have the latest fad or diet or program figured out, but really why people lose a bit of weight just to fall off the wagon. People get results short term, but it's really ineffective. So let's go in and jump right into this. So I want to be super respectful of your time. So let's get into this. So the goal for today is to make sure everyone walks away from this webinar with a ton of value. You're going to get a lot of information from this. So it's important that we get as present as possible. I'm going to be dispelling a lot of lies, some of the misinformation out there, brought to you by the good old fitness industry about fat loss and along with fat loss, how to gain more energy. I'm also going to be walking you through really getting you really clear on what fat loss is really all about and why most tactics out there just aren't sustainable. I'm going to walk you through what works, and I'm also going to walk you through what doesn't work so you can begin to map out what it is that you really desire. And I'm going to help you create a plan to know what you desire and how to actually take action on that, not just now, but 10 years from now. And I really encourage you, I want to encourage you to take action quickly and not procrastinate, not to jump off this webinar. You may have done this in the past where you watched a webinar and then just jumped off and went right back to what you were doing. This is not what this is about, because I'm going to be giving you the proven step-by-step system or strategy that I've used for losing the fat, gaining more energy, and just feeling amazing. I mean, you could probably hear it in my voice. I've got a lot of passion. I've got a lot of energy because this is the way that I've been living for the last 5 years. And these are the things that I put out. If I put it out there, they're proven and they're tested. And I've been using these for years. My clients have had massive results with using these things. So how can you get the most out of today? Well, first things first, look, I know we got a lot going on. We got emails, we've got notifications popping up on Facebook, but I encourage you to eliminate your phones. You know, if you need to use your phone or you need to step away for a second, that's cool. But I want to make sure that you are as present as possible for this. And along the way, be sure that you take some notes. Some stuff that I say will resonate with you. So be sure that you have a pen and paper ready to go. And everything that I talk about today can be customized, right? There's several guys in here from many different industries with busy schedules. All of this can be customized to your specific situation. If there's an analogy that I use, if there's something that I say that doesn't apply to you, don't worry. It can be customized. So hang tight to the end. I'll be covering a lot of information today. I'll be recapping, and I'll also be giving you some gifts here at the end that'll help you really get focused and zero in on this thing. So who am I? Who is TD Fit? What is TD Fit? Well, there I am. My name's Travis Dillard, founder of TD Fit. And I started TD Fit because, well, I'm super passionate about helping entrepreneurs, business professionals, influencers from all walks of life to get the most out of their energy and truly wake up in their best physical selves every single day. I believe as change agents that it is our moral obligation to wake up with our best physical selves every day, to not just serve ourselves, but to serve others to our highest capacity. But really just to make sure that they're 100% energetically confident in their own skin. I come in contact with many influencers who are stuck. They don't know the right method for losing weight, but really they just feel like they're not alive, and they want to be more present and less fatigued, and they want to wake up feeling like they're grounded, and that some people just lose control of the day before it ever even begins. You know, maybe it's about their hormones, maybe it's about their routine, maybe it's the way they eat, could be the exercise, whatever that is that's keeping them stuck or from getting going to the next level. That's what I do, that's who I help, and that's what I'm going to help you with today. So who am I and what do I do? Well, I've been involved in the fitness industry for about 8 years now. I've worked with CEOs of large Fortune 500 companies. I work with very high-level entrepreneurs with thousands of employees. I have several clients with 10,000 plus employees. Worked with world-renowned copywriters all the way to the entrepreneurial stay-at-home mom, right? The systems and strategies that I share with you today can be applied to anybody who has a high achieving mentality, anyone who has high expectations for themselves. And these same things that I'm sharing with you today have allowed my clients to lose over 29,000 pounds of fat. That's right, over the last 6 years, 29,000 pounds. I've had the opportunity to speak at events across the world. I actually just got back from London. I'm spoken in California. I've been on a WeWork roadshow all across the United States. It's been a blast. The people that I work with, I actually specialize in delivering coaching to busy, high-level entrepreneurs, business professionals, but really everything that I teach, I've learned myself through trial and error. And I use it today. I've used it today. I specialize in helping other people transform. I specialize in really the sustainability aspect through balanced discipline. And I'm going to get more into what that means here in a second. But the majority of my learning comes from my willingness to really embrace failure and to extract the lessons from those experiences so I can pass it along to my clients and also apply it to my life as well. But I do this all living by a code. That code is balance, because it is in my belief that how you do one thing is how you do all things. And everyone in my inner circle embraces this. What this looks like is a three-legged stool, right? You've got body, relationships, and business. If your body is broken and you're tired, but your business is, you see that as a Ferrari or it's rock solid, this is going to catch up with you. You know, if your marriage is rocky, this is going to affect your business. This is going to ultimately affect your health. There's always an overlap. And if one of these areas falls off, or if you chop off one of the legs of the stools, you're slowly going to start to slide off. So this is what this looks like in my life. So business, I've worked with hundreds of professionals all over the world. I just mentioned that I got back from London. The bottom left is actually a picture of me without a shirt on in the middle of a ring, or in the middle of a boxing ring, actually, with Gary Vaynerchuk in front of a couple thousand people, where I got to share some of my own beliefs and what I'm sharing with you today. So it's been a wild ride, but it's been fun. The top picture is I mentioned that I've been traveling across the United States. It's actually, this is at a WeWork, which is basically a spot where entrepreneurs can set up. And it's basically a co-working facility where I've had the opportunity to meet with hundreds of entrepreneurs who work out of there. It's been a lot of fun. And then you'll see that there's a picture of me right there. That is a magazine that I've been a part of, and I've been a part of several magazines. This one specifically is out of the UK. A good friend of mine, Amy Holland, where I actually went into the coaching perspective and what it really means to be a coach in my eyes. And then the bottom right is where I actually got to speak in front of a few hundred people in New York City. And you'll see there it says the fight against resistance. Now, if you got your pen and paper, be sure to write this down. If you have not read The War of Art by Steven Pressfield, not to be confused with The Art of War, I used to do that a lot. It's not the same book. It talks about resistance, right? It's the fight against resistance. And it has one of my favorite quotes of all time, and that is this: most of us have two lives, the life that we live and the unlived life within us. And between the two stands resistance. And it's really our ability to overcome this resistance that separates us from the rest of the world. And oftentimes we find that this resistance shows up in a physical way. We're seeing a lot of physical resistance in our lives. Now, on to relationships, right? I could not be where I am without this beautiful woman. Her name's Alex Pagel. I love traveling and exercising outdoors with her. And this is a pic of us at a high rise in New York City. She is my rock. But I didn't always have the support in my life like this. I used to be the guy who thought I could do life all on my own. I didn't need anyone. But the truth is, I told myself that because I didn't feel worthy of it. And there was a time in my life where I was very depressed with the way I looked. I was caught up in a fog, and I didn't like where I was headed. I just wasn't motivated, and I was too uncomfortable. I was that guy that was too uncomfortable to take his shirt off. And I remember looking in the mirror one morning and asking, is this how life has to be? Like there's got to be a better way, which led me to my turning point. And that's a big one. And that's a great transition into the third leg of the stool, and that's body. Now, the reality is look, I got to the point where enough was enough. And that's when I after years, came up with this method, the same method that I'll be sharing with you today. But this pick on the left is actually even right before I got really heavy. And the right was much more recent, obviously. But the reality is this. As a professional businessman or woman in this world, you can only serve others as well as you serve yourself. Most people spend their time focusing and serving their families, their business, their employees, everybody, even their cats and dogs. And by the end of the day, it's time to go to bed and they haven't done anything for themselves. And this is what leads to burnout. Not only is this a weight loss, we have weight loss goals, this is a weight loss venture, this is about you feeling good. And just a caveat, I also wouldn't be where I am today without the coaches that I have in my life. I've had coaches for the last 6 years, and it's in my opinion that coaches without coaches are fakes. I took basically, I don't know where I would be without coaches. They really have. I've had Coach John Garofano, who is a high level coach who has a PhD in metabolism. I've had Keith Klein. I've had a whole bunch of people across the years, but all in all, if I can't ask my clients and I can't hold my clients to be accountable if I myself am not being held accountable in some way. And I truly do believe that. So a couple things to remember. If you're doing something right now that is working or has gotten you to a certain point, don't just drop it. I am going to push your boundaries, but what it means is that we may just need to optimize it just a little bit, just make a few tweaks here and there. But I am going to kind of try to shift your paradigm a little bit, because the reality is the weight loss paradigm is a complete hoax. So every individual is similar but different. And what I mean by this is that the foundations for everything that we do are the same. But you are different. You are uniquely different. You respond to external stimulus, to exercise, to foods, to everything, to stressors. So customization is key. And throughout this time, less is more. And always remember that. This isn't, we live in this like beast mode mentality where the media says more is better. And it's just not the case. If we can find out what's right, it actually takes less and is way less overwhelming, and it's far more simple. So the analogy that I use is $1 million horse. Like, you wouldn't go out and buy $1 million horse, train it for a race, right? There's an upcoming race, you're training it. You wouldn't just train it, you would let it graze, you would let it rest, you would let it sleep. Yet, why do we do this to ourselves? Why do we run ourselves into the ground? You wouldn't run this $1 million horse into the ground, train it all hours of the night and day. No, you would let yourself have a space for yourself, and you would give it time. And so the reality is that we're running a race every single day. The question that I have for you is that, are you ready for it? Are you ready for the race that you're running in life? So again, keep an open mind. You are not any different. The foundation is the same. So let's get into this. So let's do this. You know why you're here. You're tired of the misinformation falling off. Obviously, you wouldn't be here if the results you were getting were sustainable. I'm going to show you how to tweak that to where you don't have to be part of the statistic that up to 60% of fitness plans fall in the first 90 days. It's a reality. It's a harsh reality that anytime we go down this road, we have to realize that if we're investing in a cheap, quick trick, another bulletproof paleo diet tactic, like, this is a reality. Most people fail. So let's face it. I mean, if they simply knew a better way to lose the weight sustainably, keep it off for not just now, but 10 years from now, would they really continue to try these new fads? Probably not. So it takes more than just effort, though. It takes more than effort, because obviously there are, it's 80% mindset and 20% tactics. And wow, I'm throwing a lot of percentages around here, but just hang with me here. 92% of fitness resolutions do not fail by the end of the year just because people are lazy, because people aren't putting in the effort. It's just simply due to the fact that they don't have the right method. And you don't know what you don't know. And if you can live a balanced life and drag and drop into, and not go extreme with it, and drag and drop this into your current lifestyle, it is simple. But after today, I'm going to be completely blunt with you here. If you choose to continue settling for a quick fix, it's your own fault. It's your own fault. If you just follow the exact blueprint that I lay out, given the fact that, you must do the work, this is virtually guaranteed to work. So the proof is in the pudding. How can you trust me? How can you trust what I know works? Well, I have tested, and done more testing. I've tried just about every supplement on the market. I've tried just about any fad diet that I was just ragging on a few seconds ago. I've been there. I've done it. I've gained weight. I've lost it. I've gained weight. I've been part of that yo-yo, and I was sick of it, and that's what led me to this. Really, what it's all about is three things, though: sustainability, predictability, and balance. The types of people I work with are high-level entrepreneurs, CEOs, executives, hardworking moms, fit pros, just about anybody who has extremely high expectations for themselves and quite frankly are really, really busy. So what I mean by balance, that means if you go on a vacation or you have any life event come up, you can still do this. And you become more of a creator of your circumstances rather than a creature of your circumstances. So here's what I mean by that. I have a client named Chip Franks. He's in the process of selling his real estate business right now and transitioning into a business launch called Joe Volunteer, which is what people are calling the Uber for volunteers. It matches volunteers up with local nonprofits. It's amazing. It's inspiring. I'm so happy for him. But as he's made this transition, his son has been ill. He's run into a lot of bugs with the application that's required for this new business, and he's busier than anybody I know. But in the last several weeks, he's still continued to stay on track and lose 12 pounds. And he attributes all of his breakthroughs, overcoming all of the resistance that he has, to his ability to continue focus on himself. Once we focus on ourselves, everything just gets better. It requires us to be selfish, but by being selfish, that's really being selfless. So why does this work? Well, once dragged and dropped into your lifestyle, your results do depend on your focus, on you. And look, if you're willing to focus in and really lock this down, it beats the quick 10-pound drop for an upcoming vacation, or you're just trying to lose a bunch of weight for an upcoming event. That stuff doesn't work. So all it takes is 12 to 22 minutes a day. I mean, it sounds like a big promise, but I'm going to show you why this makes sense. It's using what I call the Perform method, the same method I've been using and my clients have been using. And just real quick, we're going to go into this here in a second, but it has 5 different categories. I know there's 7 here, but I combine a couple of them. So purpose is your vision, why you're doing what you're doing. Eliminating what is not working, the poor habits, identifying them and eliminating them. And then, of course, refining those same habits. And then the nutrition side, fueling the Ferrari. How do you know what foods serve you and how to be able to tell over time that they truly are serving you, not just from a physical standpoint, but from how you feel? And how to optimize your exercise, what exercise to be doing, how to do it, when to do it, etc. And then raise the bar for yourself and then long-term to maintain the results you got. So you don't lose any of the weight, or I said that backwards. Any of the weight you've lost, you don't gain back. So I want you to get really clear here. So what is it that led you to today? Was it a video that you saw? Was it the Facebook advertisement that I put out? What is it that you read or saw that led you here emotionally? Was it that you've struggled in the past to have consistent results? Maybe, like I said before, you're yo-yoing. You lose 70 pounds to gain 80, and you lose 30 to gain 40, and it's just this constant back and forth. It creates a very negative association with the process, and eventually we get to the point where we're just like, I'm done, I'm fed up with it. So if that's something that you've been part of in the past, I'm glad that you're here. Maybe you've been to a nutritionist before, a trainer, or taken some sort of advice from a guru and it didn't pan out. You might genuinely feel like you are busier than all get out and you don't have enough time to figure this thing all out. You don't have enough time to sit there and sift through billions of YouTube videos and Facebook posts and following the latest and greatest trainer, the celebrity trainers out there, which that's a whole nother topic, which I'll get into. But maybe you used to be active, played sports, you were an athlete growing up, you enjoyed physical activity, but business, work, life, relationships, something just got in the way and you found yourself to fall off. Then I'm very happy that you're here. Maybe you just want to have a more balanced or a better way of sustainability. And really, no matter the reason that you're here, I applaud you for taking the first steps. I greatly appreciate you being here to start getting really clear. And even if my program is not for you, you've taken the first step. So you should pat yourself on the back for that. So why shouldn't we follow today's paradigm, weight loss paradigm? Please, please, please stop lying to yourself. Restricting calories is what causes an enormous amount of stress in our life. You can restrict calories and it may work for a little while. It may work for a little while. But when you get to the point where you don't have any energy and your leptin and your ghrelin levels, your hormones are going all over the place and these cravings kick in, and this constant constraint, which is this willpower that's taking away from the energy. Maybe you're focusing a little bit on intensity. This is what I was trained growing up. The harder we beat ourselves up, the more pressure we apply in the gym and even restricting our calories, the more we're going to get out of it. It doesn't work like that, because the way I look at it is that our bodies, if you look at our bodies like a cup of water, you wake up and your cup of water is completely empty. Well, each stressor in your life after the point when you wake up represents a drop. So you may have read a message on Facebook that you didn't like. You may have got a email from a client or boss that you don't like. Something is throwing you off. And then throughout the day, all these stressors show up. And by the end of the day, and your head hits that pillow at night, your cup is completely overflowing, which leads to an enormous amount of inflammation and burnout. Most fail to take in, or they just ignore their environment. You know, your environment, you are uniquely different, and your hormones respond differently than everybody else's. And so it's important that we recognize the environment that we put ourselves in, meaning if we're surrounded by people who are sitting on the couch drinking beer all the time, Jim Rohn's famous quote, "You are the average of the 5 closest people in your life." If you are not there yet, you are becoming that person. So it's time that we become very aware of that. And a one-size-fits-all approach, this kind of goes without saying. Most people, PDFs and these canned programs that you see, none of it's customized to you. And when we get involved in this, it's just a recipe for disaster. And most are just too aesthetically driven. We're how do we burn more fat? Like, how do we get to 4% body fat? But we don't realize the sacrifice that this takes and the lack of balance that we have in our lives to get there. Now, maybe you might be saying, but this has worked for me before. And I get it. You may have lost a few pounds. But what would it look like if forever that you could turn your body into a fat burning machine? I know that sounds hypey, but I want to show you how exactly you can do that, because it is easier said. I mean, it can be done. It can be done. So this is the way I look at everything. So this is what I call balanced discipline. Now, if you really look at this, we've got on the y-axis, let me take you back to algebra here real quick. On the y-axis, you got the quality of life on a scale of 1 to 10. On the x-axis, you've got physique caliber, which is how you look. So this dot right here represents someone who is on the couch, completely sedentary, overweight, lacks motivation to move, just isn't happy with life. Now, this guy right here represents someone who is shredded, 3% body fat, looks like could be on the cover of Men's Health magazine, but feels like the life has been sucked out of him. This is someone who is hurting. They may look good on the outside, but their insides are crying. And this is what the balance curve looks like. So somewhere in the middle right there at the peak top, this represents balance. This is discipline balance, where you look great and you feel great. This is where you feel alive, active, full of energy and passion, where your personality really, really shines through. The place where you build relationships. You can go out with friends and family. Maybe you have a few beers from time to time, and you don't ever feel guilty about it. This is the place where you really thrive. Caution, warning, disclaimer, this system really does have the potential to dramatically enhance your body and the way you feel. And the one caveat is that if you have a story that's not one of empowerment, we must discuss about this before we actually implement what I'm about to share with you, because we all wake up with a story, right? And if it's not a story of empowerment, it will affect our state throughout the day. And no matter what tactics are then given to you, they could be perfect tactics. You'll run into the first problem and say, you know what? This wasn't for me. I told you this wouldn't work. On to the next. And you just give up. It's human nature. But if we can shift that story, and I'm going to tell you how to do that, into one of empowerment and start to understand that food and the process serves our energy rather than this focus on weight loss everything changes. So we'll talk through how to do that if you genuinely feel like that you are not waking up with the right story. And now here we go into the perform method. So this method is all about, look, you may want to have a body of a Ferrari, right? Compare it to a Ferrari, but you might have one right now of a Prius, beaten down, broken down. It's got low maintenance, no gasoline. But to focus on performance and becoming more present, this will allow you to start becoming the Ferrari that you want. Because if you want the Ferrari, you've got to perform like one. And so if we focus on the performance side of things, everything gets better, and fat loss is simply just a simple side effect. And I had a note down there. Be sure that we take some notes now. This is where we're going to get into the meat of it. So what led you to today? Well, in 2012, I invented the Perform program and shed 53 pounds of fat in 3 months. And here's how. And this is where the shift comes a little bit. I changed the question from how much weight can I lose to how can I become more present? How can I feel better? You walk into a lot of gyms these days and trainers will tell you, they'll ask you after a couple sessions with them, hey, how much weight have you lost? And they say, well, I've lost a pound here, gained a pound here. It's not the right question because it doesn't elicit the right mindset. The question should be, how do you feel? Because that's going to be the sole driver and the motivator to continue the process. That's where the sustainability comes in. So I also found a way to boost my hormone levels 200 times. And what I mean by hormone levels, I'm talking about testosterone. Yes, even for women. Your testosterone levels will tell you, or it can actually give you more energy throughout the day. It's the feel-good hormone. Guess what? It was by simply doing less. I actually supplemented my way to 60, 70 pounds overweight. I over-exercised my way to becoming overweight because I created an enormous amount of inflammation. So I found a way to go out with friends, just like I said before, and experience this balance without feeling guilty. And without feeling run down or burned out. A lot of people just get so hunkered down. For a year straight, I ate chicken, rice, and broccoli for every meal. And I thought I was the king of the world because I was disciplined. I was white knuckling my way through this thing, though. Did I lose some weight? Yeah, I did. But after a year, I lost it. My mind went crazy. I started binge eating and I just fell off. And I never returned back to that because it was just too constrictive. And I don't want you to get to that point. So perform like you were meant to. So perform is 3 things. It's measurable, meaning that we're going to be tracking progress by actual measurements, which is going to further motivate you to move forward. It's going to be predictable. You can quite literally, with 100% certainty, know how much weight you're going to lose and know how you're going to feel in the near future. And obviously the sustainability is a big thing too. And going back to the Ferrari analogy, if you want to have the Ferrari and not a broken down Prius with no gas and a rusted engine, we've got to focus on performance and becoming more present and improving the way we feel. And again, fat loss is just a side effect of it. So since 2012, this Perform method has led to 29,000 pounds shed, serving hundreds of influencers all over the globe. I'm excited. Mike just got done with the performance program. He's a business owner in New Jersey who's a chef. And before the Perform program, he was working to exhaustion every day, tired, worn out, and stuck at about 270 pounds. But after the program, after about 13 weeks, he was down 221 pounds, or he was down to 221 pounds. Wow, that would mean he was at 50 pounds. So that's the picture on the right. Obviously, this is amazing. Now, here's the greatest part about this whole thing. With enough energy now, he's been able to take on a whole nother business. He just started actually a meal prepping business, which is, for him, he's always been interested in health, and now he's got to take that into a brand new business, which is inspiring to hear. This is the overlap that I'm talking about. This is the true power of balance. And meet Mark. Mark is a IT consultant and web designer. He's a client of mine who went through the Perform program. When he started, now the picture on the left, he's a relatively fit guy. But come to find out, after some of the tracking and measuring, he was under-eating. And we had a few tweaks here and there. And to make it to where his body was now an engine firing on all cylinders, we made these adjustments. And after 12 weeks, of the program, he gained about 8 pounds of muscle and lost 12 pounds of fat. And that's the picture on the left compared to the one on the right. So it's pretty crazy stuff. As long as you are ready, willing, and able to take action on this perform method, then these results can be easily attained. All right, so this is a 5-step system, highly effective and balanced system that allows you to experience energy, and you'll begin to notice this along with fat loss results in as little as a week. It eliminates all the guesswork. And so after today, when you guys are given this thing and we drag and drop it into your current lifestyle, you'll no longer have to worry about crash diets, yo-yo, having to go out and find something that works for you, because this is tailored to you. And when executed properly, I talked about before about how you're turning your body into a fat burning machine, and it's not hype, because here's what happens. Your body will begin to burn fat while standing still, meaning that with the right exercise, you can actually, and it doesn't take a lot, you can actually increase your testosterone and build a little bit of muscle. And for every pound of muscle that you gain, you're burning an extra 30 calories a day just while standing still. And on top of that, it's going to maximize your energy for you, your work, your family. And I get this a lot. Shut up, Travis. There's no way. And I'm not kidding you. If you get this thing locked and loaded, all you have to do is just pull the trigger. And that's it. So here's what the Perform program is not. It's not another bulletproof coffee fix, meaning you drink a cup of butter and coffee in the morning and you're good to go for the rest of the day. It doesn't work like that. It's not another high intensity trend like CrossFit or the paleo diet. It's not a gimmick or this instant fat loss program. If you're looking for something that's going to burn, 20 pounds in 2 weeks, this is not for you. This is the real deal. This is what real change looks like. It's not a cookie cutter approach, one size fits all. It's not a PDF or a outline says, here you go, good luck, talk to you soon. And it doesn't work like that. This is a customized thing. And to kind of reiterate here a little bit, it's not a 90-0 extreme intensity program where you just burn out. Look, if you're using any of these above, just please, it's time to stop. I get it. I've got plenty of friends who do this kind of stuff, have a plan, clear their schedule, and have some initial success, but they either beat their body to a pulp with things like CrossFit, or they constrain their nutrition so much it just becomes work. And the moment it becomes work is the moment you know that things are headed downhill. Because if it seems like work, it's not fun, and it's not enjoyable, you're not going to be able to keep it up. So here is how this works. So we're going to blow through this stuff pretty fast. I respect your time, so let's get moving here. So P stands for purpose. We need to get ultra clear on why you want to change. And I want you to take a second here and think about this for a second. Maybe write it down on your notepad. This is crucial. So here's an example. I want to do this because I want to be there for my kids and inspire them to go down the same road. I want to do this because I want to perform in the bedroom with my spouse. I want to do this because I want to take my shirt off when I go outside and I swim with the kids. I want to be able to wear a bikini, whatever that looks like. I want to do this because I want to be an emotional leader for my tribe, whether that be your family or your clients or your employees or your coworkers, whatever that looks like. I want you to just take a second and think about that. What is your why? Then we shift over to E&R, which is eliminate and refine. So what we're talking about here is eliminating the poor habits, the habits that are not serving you, or maybe it's just a matter of tweaking what you're currently doing right now, just a little bit, and identifying that. And also going back to the toxic environments, really having an understanding of who we surround ourselves with, and if these people around us are not taking their health seriously or taking health for granted, we're slowly going to become like that. And it's just how we are as human beings. We're communication-based beings that we can sit here and say that people don't have influence on us, but the reality is they do. And it's also about creating a space for yourself. And most of the time that's in the morning, creating a space for yourself to allow you to become less reactive. The fact of the matter is that when most people wake up, the first thing they grab is their phone. They look at Facebook, they look at their messages, and they are controlled literally by this device, or they're controlled by their environment, versus feeling grounded and feeling like you are in control, taking control of the day before it takes control of you. So all in all, you must identify what is not serving you and be willing to create, without feeling guilty, me time. And when you do this, you'll be able to reduce that evil stress hormone, cortisol, which is responsible in most people's cases when it comes to the high achieving mentality, when it comes to people who have high expectations for themselves. This is a killer, and this will prevent us from ever losing any weight at all. F is for fueling your Ferrari. What on earth should we be eating? Well, here's how to start. Raising your level of awareness behind what it is that you are eating right now and making the necessary adjustments to then optimize. What I mean by this is that if you go from sitting on the couch right now, let's say you were to be sitting on the couch right now, eating pizza every other meal, to then exercising 4 days a week and then eating chicken and rice every meal, it just doesn't make any sense. It's not going to work. The extreme leap is too extreme. And I'm not saying that you should ever be eating broccoli and rice, but I'm just using this as an example. Now, here's the thing is that I want you to start understanding that food, we got to stop looking at it as like a chore. Meaning that we got to stop looking at food like it's this thing that if we eat too much of it, we're going to gain weight, we're going to get fat. And if we start to reverse that way of looking at it, says, I want to eat this, you know why? It's because it makes me feel good. It gives me energy. It fuels my day. It improves my mental clarity when I'm working in the afternoon and I don't have to hit that wall. That's what food is. It is fuel. And as soon as we can optimize this way of thinking and then take some of the tactics to optimize some of the ways that you're eating and make minor adjustments and set stepping stones, then the fat just melts off as a side effect. So all in all, look at what you're eating right now, make tweaks, and lock that bad boy in. Oh, optimizing exercise. In and out in 24 minutes. Your exercise should be 12 to 24 minutes without the crazy intensity. This will allow you to optimize your hormones. And this will allow you to burn more fat and feel good doing it. Every time that you leave the gym or if you're working out at home, every time you leave your exercising session, you should feel energetic. You should feel the dopamine kick in. You should feel the endorphins kick in. You should feel alive. You shouldn't feel run down. 90% of people think that the harder you push, the greater the result. I just proved that was opposite. In fact, Harvard just came out with a study that says 20 minutes of the right exercise leads to 12 hours of a chemical momentum, a chemical boost, brain power. This is resilience. Your ability to handle more stress for the next 12 hours heightens dramatically. R and M. So this is raise and measure. We want to raise your results by measuring. Now, what I mean by this is that when you begin to lose the weight, you're going to be able to see this in the mirror, not a scale. The scale has way too many. It causes us to micromanage, but it has way too many variables. It doesn't take into account how much water you've had, how much salt you've had, when you went to the bathroom, and we can drive ourselves crazy with this thing. I gained 4 pounds today. Oh, tomorrow you wake up, I've lost 3 pounds. Like, it's just this. We drive ourselves insane. But the mirror does not lie. And if we also start to track what goes into our body, we develop a new level of awareness on what it is that we're actually eating, and better yet, how we feel after that. Because you don't know what you don't know. Most people go throughout the day, they have 3 meals, and you ask them, and they may be able to give you a kind of an understanding of what they ate. But if you start to pinpoint, okay, I had this for today, this is how I feel, and you start to relate the two, you can then create a positive association with the process. Tracked progress creates everlasting momentum, period. So let's wrap this thing up. Let's bring this home. So first of all, thank you guys for hanging out with me today. I'm going to be going through one more thing here real quick, so hang with me. So balanced discipline is what this thing is all about. Give yourself permission to create space for yourself. We went into what that looks like. This could be anywhere from 30 to 60 minutes every morning where you just create a space for yourself so you can start the day grounded and not constantly reacting to all the stressors that come up. Because stressors come up in life, but it's not what happens to us. It's how we respond. And if you can come from that grounded place, we can respond in a way that doesn't seem like things are as bad as we make them out to be. Don't do anything you don't enjoy. It's the same thing. You see the same guy running on the treadmill at the gym. Every year, he's doing the same thing. He hasn't lost any weight. And you ask him, and he's just talking about how tired he is of it. Why are you still doing that? Seriously, why do people do that? Well, it's because they've trained themselves to say this is work, this must be hard, so if it's hard, I must keep doing it. But you are uniquely different. You know, your body responds different to exercise. Your body responds different to foods. You are uniquely different. If all you do is take the things that I've shared with you today, and you're going to get incredible results, I promise you. In fact, throwing the Perform method into your existing lifestyle has the potential to 10x your results, any results that you've ever gotten, and these results actually stick for once. So quick exercise for you. This takes less than 2 minutes, real quick. So I'm going to ask you these 3 questions. When it comes to getting and feeling fit, what do you want? What do you want? And what's preventing you from getting what you want? And lastly, how could your life change if you had a sustainable weight loss journey and you had energy every single day? These 3 things. So when it comes to these 3 things, when it comes to getting and feeling fit, what do you want? Do you want to do this for your children? Do you want to do this for your wife? Do you want to do this because you don't want to turn out like your parents did, or there's a disease that runs in the family that you've told yourself that you're going to have, but you don't necessarily, you're not going to get it. If you just take these steps, I promise you, diabetes runs in my family. Hereditarily, I think that's a word. I told myself that I was going to get diabetes because that was in my family, but it doesn't have to be like that. What is it that you really want? And what's preventing you from getting there? Maybe you say, I don't know. If so, let's talk about it. Let's have that conversation. And how could your life change if you had sustainable weight loss and energy? So think about that. All right, here we go. So here's how we can make this possible. Bonus time. Now the fun begins. Remember, if you can envision it, it is possible. So what is your weight loss goal? Or if it's energy, if it's just to have more energy, what does that feel like? What does it feel like if you can envision it? And what actions are required to get you there? I really want you to start focusing on this right now. So now you have the recipe. You now have the clarity on what you have to do. But the question is, how do you apply this stuff? And answer me this. Do you have what it takes to make this thing work right now? Or is it something that you require some additional help with? That's what you have to ask yourself. So the way to get the most out of the Perform program is to be shown exactly how to apply it. Right now, with zero guesswork, without the mule work, this is no longer a guessing game. So what's the catch? Well, remember what I said in the beginning. This works for any busy business professional. If you are busy, if you have a high achieving mindset, if you are an entrepreneur, a busy mom, a busy business professional, and you just don't have the time to figure this all out, or you don't have the time to apply this, I'm going to show you this. So customizing it to your current lifestyle is key. Taking what you're doing right now and making small adjustments. So here's my offer to you. I'm going to teach a select few of you how to do this. And I'm happy to show you exactly how I do it, how my clients have done it, how my clients have used it to lose 29,000 pounds, and exactly how you can do it. It's never about what to do. It's always about how to do it. Everyone knows what needs to be done. It always comes down to the how, right? So here's how. So normally I have clients that pay me up to $40K a year to help them dial this in. But here's the deal. I do have a gift for you. And I want to make sure that your 2016 finishes with a bang here. So here's the deal. I want you, if you're on the call right now and you're ready to do this like now, and you're ready to lock this thing in and really move forward, I want you to open up a new window on your computer and go to travisdillard.com/speak. And there you'll find a form. I want you to fill that out, and you have to be radically honest what's going on with your situation and what it is that you really want to change. And for the first 10 that jump in now, I want to set up a one-on-one call with you to discuss your very own strategy. And if you're really ready to implement this into your journey, into your health and fitness journey, then let's do that. I don't care where you are right now. If you're still not clear on what your overall goals are right now, that's cool. Let's talk about that. And I can't do it for everybody because, quite frankly, I have a few clients and I have a lot of clients and I just don't want to have, I don't have the capacity to do more than 10. But on a 1 to 10 scale, I'll put it from this perspective. On a 1 to 10 scale of commitment, I only work with 10s. So if you're committed to doing what it takes to move forward, then let's have that conversation about it. So for the first 10 who fill out the form, I'm going to have a one-to-one call with you. This is about a 60 to 90-minute call around what it is that you got going on right now, what's not working and why, and what the next best action is to take to get you to the next level. So this is going to end at midnight tonight. We're going to pull the document down. We're going to drop the site tonight. So it's 3 p.m. Central where I am right now. That gives you about 8 or 9 hours to fill out the form, get it connected, and jump right in. So again, go to travisdiller.com/speak. This is for the first 10 only. Fill in the information, and we can go from there. So we're going to go ahead and wrap this up now. Listen, I deeply appreciate you being here today. Thanks for spending some time and jumping on the call with me. If you've got any questions at all, feel free to reach out to me via email, and we'll get this thing dialed in for you quickly. So it's been a pleasure. Love you guys to death. Hope everything is great in your world. And I look forward to seeing you on the other side. And if you don't follow me already on Facebook, please do so. And thanks again for attending the webinar today. I'll talk to you guys soon.